The power of the subconscious mind. Unlocking your hidden potential for success and personal transformation. There are countless energies within us. Just think about what we could achieve if we learned to harness them all. This is what the poet says. While poetry often comes from lofty ideas and can seem exaggerated, there is actually a lot of real truth in this statement that we might not recognize at first. No one really knows how many energies a person has. There are so many that even the most careful observers of human behavior can't count them all. Many of these energies are truly impressive, and some seem to have endless power and countless possibilities. It makes us think about what people will become when they learn to use them all. When we think about human nature, we might not notice much change in our abilities and value compared to what we think people were like in the past. Because of this, we might believe that humanity will stay pretty much the same on this planet forever. When we look into the lives of people who have recently tried to use their inner strengths more wisely, we find a different conclusion. We find that many people show signs of a new and better group of individuals, a group that will use more of the amazing things and potential that are within them. Modern psychology has only been around for a few years, less than 25, and it's just starting to show us what we can achieve by using our minds and actions more wisely. But evidence is already coming in from all sources, showing results that often seem quite remarkable. A person can achieve much more with their life than they have in the past. They can use their skills, energy, and value in ways that their ancestors never imagined. A lot has been shown during this short introduction to the new age. What amazing things can we expect in the next 50 or 100 years as we develop and use the greater possibilities that we all have inside us? For centuries, we have known that there is more to people than what we see. Recently, however, we have started to make a real effort to understand this deeper aspect and find better ways to use what we already know and do. When talking about a big and new topic, make some claims that might seem surprising or even a bit exaggerated at first. If the reader takes the time to look into the reasons behind these statements, they will see that there are no baseless claims or exaggerations in the book. In fact, they may wish that every strong statement had been even stronger. When we look deeper into human life and discover the amazing things hidden beneath the everyday aspects of our thoughts and feelings, we see that people are incredibly complex. Words can't even begin to capture the fullness of their lives. Sometimes we try to express our thoughts using strong words and powerful descriptions, but even those often fall short. This leads us to believe that no description of the deeper aspects of humanity can ever be too intense. Even the strongest person can't express even a tiny fraction of what we would say if we told the whole truth. We should all agree on this and realize it's better not to judge bold statements. Instead, we should focus on understanding and using the greater strengths within us that are far more powerful than any statement could ever be. People who think that humanity will always stay weak and imperfect should think about the amazing progress we've made recently in almost every area of life. People should keep in mind that the stronger abilities in humans, along with a scientific look at how we use our smaller abilities, have been mostly overlooked. The question that comes to mind is, what could a person achieve if they put the same effort into their own growth and improvement as they do in other areas of life? If he did, wouldn't we see clear signs of a new and better race in a generation or two? Wouldn't there be many more strong men and women than ever before in history? Everyone will have their own way of answering these questions. But no matter what their answers are, we can all agree that people can do, become, and achieve much more than what we might expect right now. The following pages aim to inspire as many people as possible to explore and use their inner strengths. This way, they can grow as individuals and also lead the way for a better and more amazing future that we all hope for. Lesson 1. The main idea in people. We will look closely at what it means to be human, identify all the strengths we have, both visible and hidden, active and inactive. Share ways to use these strengths to improve each person's life, making it more fulfilling and meaningful. We want to ensure that every part of this work is helpful to as many people as possible. Everything we say will be easy to understand, and every idea will be something anyone can use in their daily life. We all want to understand what we have, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual. We also want to learn how to use the strengths and qualities within us effectively. What we really want are results in our everyday lives. We need to be honest with ourselves and our community by learning to use our inner strengths effectively, so we can achieve the best outcomes possible for human nature. When we look into a scientific study of the topic, we see that the main issue is understanding what we have inside us and how to make use of it. After studying the abilities within us, both conscious and subconscious, We believe that if we learn to use these abilities, we could achieve almost anything we set our minds to. This would not only help us meet our needs, but also allow us to reach our greatest aspirations. It might sound like a bold claim, but when we look closely at what it means to be human, we have to agree that it holds true. Every person has the ability to understand their needs and achieve their goals once they learn to tap into their seeds, inner strengths. This is not just a guess, nor is it just a nice idea. The more we look at the lives of successful people and reflect on our own daily experiences, the more we believe that anyone can achieve their goals, and even more than they dream of. This study starts with understanding what it means to be human. We need to know who we are before we can understand and use our natural abilities. When looking at human nature, several methods have been used, but there are 3 that are truly useful for what we need right now. The first of these says that a person is made up of ego, consciousness, and form. While this explanation is thorough, it can be hard to grasp because it's quite abstract. The second analysis, which is easier to grasp and is used by most people, states that a person is made up of body, mind, and soul. However, despite how often this idea is discussed, very few truly understand it. Actually, we need to change how we think about a person. Instead of seeing them as just body, mind, and soul, we should look at it in a different way, for it to be completely accurate. The third analysis, which is straightforward and useful, states that a person is made up of individuality and personality. This understanding of human nature will guide the different parts of our study in this work. Before we get into the practical aspects of this topic, it's helpful to take a quick look at different ideas about what it means to be human. Understanding the ego is essential for learning how to use our inner strengths. The ego represents the I am, which is the main part of who we are. It is the center of our individuality and the source of everything we do, while everything else about human nature comes after it. When most people use the word ego, they believe it's something so complex and abstract that it doesn't really matter if we grasp it or not. This is not true, because the ego needs to act before anything can happen in the human system. The ego must create something new before any progress can be made. It's really important to understand that our ability to control our inner strengths depends on how aware we are of our ego, which is the main driving force in us. We realize that it's really important to connect all our thoughts, feelings, and actions with the ego, which we will refer to as the ego. I am. The first step is to recognize the I am in everything you do, and to always think of the I am as being you, the best version of yourself. When you think, it is the I am that started the thought. When you take action, it is the I am that drives that action. And when you think about yourself, or try to be aware of yourself, know that the I am is at the center of your awareness. Another key point is to quietly remind yourself that you are the I am. When you say this, think of the I am as the main guiding force in your life. Something that stands out and is greater than everything else within you, and is representing your true self in the fullest and most complete way. You raise yourself up, like reaching the top of a mountain. You take your rightful place. You become who you really are. You put yourself where you fit best. This practice helps you realize that you are in control of your life. It raises your awareness and actions to a higher level, which we can think of as the core of who you are, where your true self, the I am, exists and operates. If you want to manage the strengths you have, you need to act from your true self. This means coming from that aware part of your mind, where all your control and initiative come from. This part is the center of your I am. You should act not just as a body, personality, or mind, but as the I am. The more you understand the importance of the I am, the more power you have to manage everything else you own. In short, whenever you think or act, you are connected to the I am, which represents the highest part of your being. Understand that this I am is you, the best version of yourself. The more you use these methods, the more you rise above the limits of your mind and body. You start to see your true self as a powerful individual. Essentially, you put yourself in the right place, above everything in your life. When we look at how the average person thinks, we see that they often see themselves as their mind or body. He either believes he is just his body or just his mind, which means he can't control either one. The I am in his nature is mixed up with many ideas, some true and some not. His thoughts are often guided by these ideas, instead of being directed by the inner principle that was meant to guide him. A person like this lives at a basic level of life. We can only manage our lives when we take charge from a higher perspective. This is why most people don't understand their own strengths or know how to use them. He needs to raise himself to a higher level of understanding. And the first and most important step is to recognize that the I am is the guiding principle, and that the I am is you. Another important method is to take a few moments each day to recognize that you, the I am, are not just your thoughts and body. In a way, you are separate from them. Try to focus on the I am for a few moments each day, apart from everything else that makes you who you are. This practice will help you become fully aware of your own individual I am. As you develop this awareness, you will naturally think of the greater I am whenever you think about yourself. From that point on, all your thoughts will come directly from the I am. If you keep yourself above these thoughts all the time, you will be able to control and guide them fully. Looking at consciousness and form in this context isn't really needed, except to briefly explain what they are. This will help us understand what we're talking about in both the conscious area and the area of expression. The I am is aware. It understands what exists in the human world and what happens there. This awareness is what makes up consciousness. Simply put, you are aware when you recognize that you are alive and have a clear understanding of what is happening around you. Form is everything in our organized personality that has shape and helps express the forces inside us. When we think about consciousness, we see that the I am uses three basic actions. When the I am observes life, we have clear awareness. When the I am reflects on its own place in life, we experience self-awareness. And when the I am gazes into the vastness of true existence, we experience a broader awareness of the universe. In basic awareness, you notice only what is outside of you. However, when you start to recognize yourself as a separate being, you begin to develop self-awareness. When you start to focus on the deeper aspects of life and look toward the true source of everything, you become aware of a world that seems to exist within all others. As you embark on this journey, you find yourself at the edge of a greater understanding, which is one of the most interesting topics there is. To define body, mind, and soul, we need to turn the usual definition around. In the past, we often said, I have a soul, which suggests that I am a body. This idea has become so ingrained in most people's minds that when they hear me or myself, they usually think of the body. In this way of thinking, a person is not separate from their physical thoughts and feelings. Instead, they're often overwhelmed by a mix of physical facts and ideas that they have little control over. You can't control anything in your life until you rise above it. You can't control what's happening in your body until you understand that you are more than just your body. You can't control your thoughts until you understand that you are more than just your mind. As long as you see yourself only as your body, you won't be able to fully tap into your inner strength. When we look at what makes a person, we see that the soul is the essence of who they are. The ego is the main part of the soul. In other words, the soul, which includes the I am, makes up a person's individuality, while the visible traits that show this individuality make up their personality. If you want to understand your strengths and develop the mindset needed to control them, practice thinking of yourself as a soul, but don't view the soul as something unclear or mysterious. Consider the soul as representing you as an individual and everything that comes with that idea. Believe that you are in control of your mind and body, as you have the ability to use everything within them. Lesson 2. How we control the forces we have. Whenever you think, feel, speak, or act, or whatever is happening in your life, you are above it all, better than it all, and in control of it all. Elevate your mindset in everything you do, and think before you can manage yourself and effectively use your abilities. What has been discussed about the I am, the soul, and individuality being one and at the top of human existence is just as important as anything that will be said later about how these forces in a person can be applied to real-life actions. Even though this part of the topic might seem a bit unclear, we will easily grasp it better as we use the ideas we've developed. When we understand that we are naturally above our mind and body, this topic becomes more interesting and useful than anything else. We can explain individuality better by saying it is like the invisible man, and everything that is unseen in a person is part of their individuality. It's the individual that starts things, guides them, or takes charge. To manage and use a force in your own system, you need to understand and build your individuality. Make sure your uniqueness stands out, is clear, and has a positive vibe. Always be aware of who you are and what you want, and stay focused on achieving those goals. Your individuality sets you apart from others, and a strong sense of self helps you stand out. The level of individuality you have plays a big role in the position you will hold in the world. When you notice a man who is different, who stands out in a special way, and who has something important that others don't seem to have, you're looking at someone with strong individuality. This is a person who is likely to leave a significant impact on the world. Imagine two men who are equally strong, skilled, and effective, but there is one key difference between them. In one case, individuality is very strong, while in the other, it is not as developed. It's clear which of these two will achieve the most success. The one with individuality rises above just thinking in physical limits, allowing them to manage and guide their mental and physical strengths. The man with a weak sense of self tends to feel overwhelmed in both mind and body. Instead of being in control, he is often swayed by external influences that affect his thoughts and feelings. When you see someone, whether a man or a woman, doing something meaningful, making an impact, and striving for better things, you notice their individuality is strong, confident, and well developed. You need to focus on building a strong, positive sense of self if you want to succeed and make the most of your abilities. A weak individuality goes along with whatever is happening around them and often gets only what others decide to offer. In contrast, a strong and positive individuality takes charge of their life and future and eventually gets what they aimed for from the start. A positive attitude can help you make the most of situations and create good outcomes. This is one reason why being unique always works out well. Another reason is that the more you develop your unique self, the more people will admire you when they meet you. People are drawn to power and see it as a special honor to place those with power in high positions. Every man or woman with a strong sense of individuality has power, often remarkable power. To build your individuality, the first step is to recognize the importance of the I am in your thoughts. The I am is at the heart of who you are. The more aware you are of the I am, the more you tap into its power. This awakening of power helps you become a stronger and more positive individual. Practice seeing yourself in a confident and powerful way. When you think about yourself, see yourself as someone who is living and acting with confidence. Also, turn every desire into something good, every feeling into something good, every thought into something good, and every action of the mind into something good. To clearly understand what you want, and to truly desire it with all your energy, will strengthen your individuality. This is because focusing your mind in this way activates all the positive forces within you. One helpful way is to imagine what your best self looks like, someone with a strong and developed personality. Then, focus on becoming more like that image over time. We slowly become like the things we think about the most. If you have a clear vision of who you want to be, and really want to grow into that person, you will slowly but surely make progress toward that goal. The helpful approach is to acknowledge what we might refer to as the bigger person within. Many people overlook the greater person inside them, but we must not ignore this inner being at any time. This bigger man is not something separate from us. It is just the total of the bigger strengths and opportunities that we have inside us. We need to notice these, reflect on them often, and truly want to bring out and show more of these inner strengths with all our heart, mind, and soul. As a result, we will see that our true self will grow stronger and more engaged, and we will be better able to use our greater potential. Individuality is incredibly valuable and can't be overstated. All the ways to build individuality should be used regularly and consistently. Actually, nothing else we can do will give us better results. The personality is what you see in a person. Everything we can see in a person is part of their personality, but it goes beyond just the body. When we say someone has a fine personality, it doesn't always mean that their personality is beautiful in the usual way we think of beauty. A person may not have physical beauty, but they can still have a well-developed personality. There may not be anything remarkable about this personality, but there is definitely something very appealing, something to truly appreciate. On the other hand, when a person's personality isn't well developed, all you see is just an ordinary human being. All aspects of such a personality are rough and unpolished. However, there's no reason for any personality to be crude, unrefined, or underdeveloped. Everyone has the potential to improve their personality and become more attractive, and there are many good reasons to work on this development. The main reason is that all of our actions come from our personality. The better our personality, the easier it is to use and show our strengths. When a person's character is rough, it becomes hard to use the better parts of ourselves in everyday life. This is one reason why talent or skill often doesn't reach its full potential. When this happens, the personality is overlooked and isn't a suitable way for deeper and greater things to be expressed. A person's personality is like a piano to a musician. If the piano is out of tune, the musician won't succeed. no matter how skilled they are. Similarly, if the piano or instrument is poorly made, even the best music can't come through it properly. To build your personality, learn how to change all the creative energy that comes from within you. We'll explore this topic in more detail in another chapter. When we start to use the forces inside us, we discover 3 areas where we can act. The first is the conscious field, where our mind works when we are awake. The second area is the subconscious, where the mind operates when it goes below our awareness. It's also the area we engage with while we sleep. The phrase, falling asleep, is literally accurate. When we sleep, our ego lowers into another world, a world so large that we've only discovered parts of it so far. The third field is the superconscious, where the mind operates when it reaches a higher level. In this state, we experience true power and inspiration. Often, when we connect with the superconscious, we feel as if we are more than just human. Understanding how to behave in the superconscious field is very important, even if it might seem unclear or a bit mysterious at first. We are always connected to the superconscious, whether we realize it or not. We often tap into a deeper state of mind when we listen to uplifting music, read a book that resonates with us, hear someone speak with genuine insight, or experience a beautiful moment in nature. We also connect with the superconscious when we get really excited about a big goal, and this can be very useful in many ways. When highly ambitious men get swept up in their drive, they often find themselves in a better state of mind. In this state, they feel more powerful and determined than ever. Their minds become very active, allowing them to come up with the bright ideas needed to achieve their ambitions. It's clear that we often get our best ideas from this higher place, and it's a common understanding that no one achieves great or amazing things without often connecting with this inspiring state. When we practice connecting with our deeper thoughts regularly, we often discover the ideas we need. We always find the ways and resources needed. No matter the challenges we face, we always find a way to overcome and succeed. When you find yourself in a tough situation, start thinking positively and aim for a better mindset. As you reach this higher state of thinking, you'll soon get the ideas or solutions you need. However, there are other important aspects related to the superconscious. The strongest abilities in people are very powerful, but we can't tap into those higher abilities without working through the superconscious mind. To understand and use all your strengths, you need to train your mind to work with the superconscious, as well as the conscious and subconscious parts. We shouldn't only stay in this high state of mind. While it gives us the energy to do great things, we need to bring those ideas down to reality and connect them with practical actions. If someone only focuses on their higher thoughts, they may have amazing dreams. However, if they don't take practical steps to make those dreams a reality, they will just keep dreaming without achieving anything. We achieve the results we want when we bring together our thoughts from the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious mind. Simply put, using all your mental abilities and expressing them in different ways can help you reach your goals and achieve great things. When we apply any specific force, we don't need to make it work through what we might call the psychological field. This is because the psychological field in humans is where the real action happens. This is the area where hidden forces move, and we all know that these forces shape not just the direction of what we do, but also the outcomes that come from our actions. This idea is clearly shown in these lines. Straws float on the water's surface. To find pearls, you have to dive deep. The word below, when talking about human life and awareness, refers to the psychological area or the deeper feelings and thoughts we have. Regular people just look at the surface. Smart people often explore deeper ideas and work within the realm of psychology. They explore the deep treasures of their thoughts and the valuable gems within their spirit. When we explore the psychological aspect of any force, it refers to the deeper, subtle actions of that force. We engage with the underlying currents and work to manage them. In the area of undercurrents, we discover where causes begin and how they act, whether they are physical or mental. These currents, when handled wisely, help us get rid of what we don't want and bring about the changes we do want. They always create effects, both in the body and mind, based on how we use them. Everything related to our personality will react only to the actions of these currents. In other words, you can't create any change in your mind or body unless you first guide the underlying currents to make those changes happen. It is essential to engage with the underlying currents, regardless of our intentions or the forces we want to manage or influence. We can only interact with these currents when we step into the psychological realm. We can make the most of everything in our daily lives when we understand hope. When we grasp the psychology behind something, we see the force that drives it and shapes its actions. When we understand the psychology of things in our own area or environment, we can figure out how to handle them to achieve the results they can create. This law is really important for understanding the forces we have inside us, whether they come from our thoughts, our personality, or different levels of awareness, like the conscious or subconscious mind. In short, to manage and guide our abilities, we need to understand them more deeply. This way we can gain complete control over the underlying forces. The way those undercurrents move affects the outcomes. Since we can guide those currents however we want, we can achieve the results we aim for. People are meant to keep progressing. Moving forward means living more fully. Living fully means being more and doing more. It's through being and doing that we find happiness. The more you are and what you do, the fuller your life and the more joy you feel. Being and doing should always go hand in hand. Trying to be more and doing less can make life feel empty. Trying to do a lot, without focusing on who you are, can make life feel too heavy and tiring to handle. The essence of having a lot provides the needed motivation and strength to accomplish a lot. Doing a lot helps show who we are. Bringing things to life through action creates happiness. And that is what happiness is. Having a lot allows you to do a lot. Doing a lot shows the best parts of who we are. The more we grow what's inside us, the happier we can be, as long as we also share that growth with others. The first important thing comes from having a lot. The second comes from doing a lot. The key to both can be discovered by someone who aims to keep progressing. Lesson 3. How to use your mind in everyday action. Today, the mind is what drives the world. This means that those who learn to use their minds effectively will find the most success and achieve the highest goals possible. The person who succeeds is the one who can use all their thinking skills in real life and make every thought count. Sometimes, we wonder why there are so many talented men and wonderful women who don't achieve the success they seem to deserve. But the answer is straightforward. They aren't using their mind's power as they could. Their skills and traits are either not used correctly or only used partially. People shouldn't let themselves feel unhappy with their situation. Instead, anyone who learns to fully use their mind's power can achieve their goals. They will fulfill their desires and succeed. There are many reasons for this, but the main one is that when we use our minds effectively to achieve our goals, our other abilities can also be used to help us. This becomes clear when we understand that the mind is not just the most powerful force in the world, but also within each person. The mind controls all other abilities in a person. His thoughts shape how all his other abilities work. To achieve the results he wants, he should focus first on using mental action in a scientific and constructive way. In an earlier chapter, it was mentioned that the I am is the main principle in a person. From that, one might think that the I am is also the main power, but that's not entirely accurate. There is a difference between principle and power, but for everyday use, it's not important to think about the abstract part of this difference. Understand that the I am guides the mind, and the mind has the power to control everything else in our body. The mind is in charge, but the true strength comes from the I am that supports it. Understand how to use the power of the mind. But first, we need to learn what this power really is. In simple terms, we can say that the power of the mind is the total of all the forces in the mental world, including those used when we think. The mind has different powers: the power to will, the power to desire, the power to feel, and the power to think. It involves both conscious and subconscious actions at every stage. Essentially, it covers anything that the mind puts into action, whether by the mind, through the mind, or within the mind. To harness the power of your mind, focus all your thoughts on your goal. This focus should be steady and consistent, not just something you do now and then. But many people don't follow this rule. One moment they think about one thing, and the next moment they think about something different. At 1 hour, their thoughts follow a specific path, and the next hour, those thoughts take a different direction. At times, we have one goal in mind, and at other times, it's something different. This means our thoughts don't always focus on a single clear goal, but often get scattered instead. We understand that anyone who is truly working towards their goal focuses all their thoughts on that goal. He believes that every thought counts, and that no mental energy is wasted. All his energy is focused on achieving his goals. And the reason everything works in his favor is that he is not distracted by different thoughts at the same time. He is always thinking about what he wants to reach and accomplish. When the mind focuses completely on something, it becomes the main force, and all other abilities will also work towards that same goal. To use our mind and other strengths effectively, the first thing we need to ask ourselves is what we truly want to achieve. Once we have that answer, We should focus on that one goal so clearly that we can picture it in our minds all the time. Most people aren't sure about what they truly want. They might have a general wish, but they haven't clearly figured out what they truly want, and this is a major reason for failure. If we don't clearly know what we want, our efforts will be all over the place. And when our efforts are scattered, we won't achieve much, or might even fail completely. If we know what we want and put in our best effort to achieve it, we can be confident that we will succeed. When we focus our thoughts, will, mental effort, desire, and ambition on one specific goal, it's easy to see why we can achieve greater success. Let's say you have a goal. If you keep focusing on that goal with all your thoughts and energy, minute by minute, without taking a break, you'll really be working towards it. You will slowly and steadily train all your inner strengths to help achieve your goal. Over time, your whole mind will focus on making that happen. On the other hand, let's say you follow what most people do in normal situations. Imagine that after thinking about your goals for a while, you realize you might do better if you try something different. Next, you start to focus your thoughts in a different direction. Eventually, you realize there's another way you could succeed, so you focus your thoughts on this new goal. So, what will occur next? In simple terms, you'll start 3 good projects, but you'll end up stopping before finishing any of them. Every year, many capable men and women make this mistake. They focus all their mental energy on one goal for a little while, and then they shift their attention to something else. They don't stick with any one thing long enough to see results, so they never get any results. Some people focus mainly on one big goal, and do quite well, but they also spend time on several smaller goals that aren't very important. So, they are using just a small part of their power in a way that will show. The rest is discarded along several paths, where nothing is achieved. In today's world, high efficiency is needed in all areas of work. Anyone who wants to achieve their goals and ambitions can't afford to waste any of their potential. He needs to focus on his main goal, and shouldn't let distractions take his attention, even for a moment. Keep your ambition or desire in mind all the time. Always keep your goals in mind, and don't be afraid to aim as high as you can. If you set your sights high, you're likely to achieve more. However, this doesn't guarantee that you'll reach your goals exactly as you imagined. People with low goals often achieve even less than they aimed for, while those with high goals tend to come close to achieving what they originally wanted. The idea is to focus our thoughts on the highest and biggest goals we want to reach. The first important step is to focus your mind and thoughts on your goal. Keep your mind directed towards that goal every minute, no matter what happens around you. Keep every thought positive. When we want something or think about what we want to achieve, we should ask ourselves if our mindset is positive or negative at that moment. To understand this, we just need to keep in mind that every positive action moves toward what it focuses on, while a negative action pulls away. A positive action is something you feel when you notice that everything in your system is moving forward. It's like experiencing a growing sense of awareness or feeling. A positive mindset is shown by a strong, steady feeling throughout the nervous system. When you feel energized and focused, you have a positive mindset. Whatever you do in that moment is likely to lead to the results you want or hope for. When you feel positive, you aren't nervous or upset. You're calm and in control. The more positive you feel, the deeper your calmness and the better you manage everything in your life. A positive person isn't someone who runs around chaotically without thinking or taking action. Instead, they stay calm and composed in any situation, while also being full of energy, ready to achieve their goals, no matter what happens. This energy can't be used until the right moment comes, and when it does, it goes straight to the target. A positive mind is in sync with itself, while a negative mind is not, which causes it to lose much of its strength. Being positive means having strength and power that is well managed and ready to be used when needed. When it's time to act, that energy is directed in a helpful way, still under good control. In a positive mindset, all parts of the mind work together smoothly and focus on the goal. In contrast, a negative mindset causes those same parts to be scattered, uneasy, and distracted, sometimes following a direction but often not. It is clear that one will always succeed, while the other will always fail. When energy is scattered, it tends to fail. But when energy is focused and directed, it is bound to succeed. A positive mind is like a strong stream of water, gaining strength and size from many smaller flows along the way. As it moves forward, its power grows stronger, and when it finally reaches its goal, that power is truly huge. A negative mind is like a stream that splits into many parts as it flows. By the time it reaches its destination, instead of being one strong stream, it is turned into many small, weak, and shallow streams. To build a positive mindset, nurture the qualities that make up positivity. Focus completely on what you want to achieve, and approach it with steadiness, calmness, and determination. Work on understanding each desire deeply, until you feel that all your inner strength is at play, coming from a deeper place inside you, not just from the outside. As you develop this attitude, you'll notice more positivity in your life, and you'll start to feel a sense of power and respect growing within you. You will not only notice how you can use your talents better, but others will see their difference too. If you want to be seen as someone who can get things done, people will turn to you for the role that needs to be filled. Being positive helps you use your strengths better and gives you a personality that people admire. This can make you stand out when opportunities arise where strong leaders are needed. People generally don't respond well to negative attitudes. People with negative traits often seem weak and are overlooked, while everyone is drawn to those with positive attitude. It's the positive personality that tends to be favored. It's only fair that a positive person makes better use of their abilities, allowing them to act more effectively whenever needed. The third key to using your mind well is to ensure that every thought you have is positive. A positive thought comes from a strong desire to grow, to improve, to succeed, and to achieve more than what has been done in the past. If you make sure that every thought you have feels positive, being constructive will soon feel natural to your mind. This means that all your mental energy will start to work in a way that helps you grow and succeed in whatever you want to do. Keep your mind inspired, with a strong desire, making it so powerful that every part of you feels the urge to grow, improve, and become more effective. A great way to improve is to think more about your ideas whenever you have some free time to reflect. This practice will likely lead to an increase in your thinking processes. It's helpful to motivate every thought with a bit more ambition. We can't be overly ambitious. We might have a lot of aimless ambition, but we can never have too much true, helpful ambition. If you have a strong ambition, focused on a specific goal, everything you think, do, and feel will help you move forward. Your ambition will drive all your actions as you work towards achieving it. Don't allow restless ambition. When you feel ambitious, focus your mind calmly and firmly on what you truly want to achieve in life. Do this every day, and you'll gradually train all your skills and abilities to help achieve your goals, becoming more effective along the way. Soon, you will have the skills and abilities you need to achieve your goals. To use the mind properly, these 3 essentials should be applied regularly and completely. First, focus all your thoughts and energy on the goal you want to achieve. Next, focus on making every thought positive and calm. Third, focus on making every thought positive and helpful. Aim to build, grow, and reach for something greater. Once you have these 3, you'll start using your abilities in a way that leads to results. You will start to make progress steadily and confidently, and you will keep moving ahead. Your mind will be like the stream talked about earlier. It will keep growing and gaining strength as it continues, until it becomes strong enough to overcome any obstacle in its path, and powerful enough to achieve whatever you have in mind. To use these 3 essentials effectively, avoid certain common mistakes in thinking. Stay away from being forceful, aggressive, or domineering. Keep your mind calm, and only let it become intense when you have full control over it. Don't try to control or influence others at all. It's unlikely that you'll succeed like that, and if you do, it won't last long. Plus, this kind of approach can make your mind weaker. Focus your thoughts on yourself instead of others. Use your mind to become stronger, more positive, capable, and efficient. As you grow in this way, success will naturally follow. You can only influence others in a proper way by giving instructions. But when you do that, you aren't trying to influence them. You want to share knowledge and information, and you have a positive impact without trying to. Many people, after realizing the strong influence of the mind, believe they can change their situations by using mental power in some unknown way. However, this approach is simply a waste of energy. To change your situation, focus on improving yourself. As you grow and become more capable, you'll find that better opportunities will come your way. We should keep in mind that similar things tend to attract each other. To get something better, work on becoming better yourself. To achieve your ideal, work on becoming a better version of yourself. To have better friends, start by being a better friend yourself. To connect with valuable people, work on becoming more valuable yourself. If you want to find things you like, try being more likable yourself. To create better situations and experiences, focus on being more pleasant yourself. Simply put, create what you desire within yourself, and you will naturally attract the right circumstances in the outside world. To get better in those areas, you need to use all the strength you have for that goal. It's important not to waste any of it, as any wrong use of your mind will waste your energy. Stay away from negative thoughts like anger, hatred, envy, jealousy, revenge, depression, disappointment, worry, and fear. Don't fight against what is wrong, and don't seek revenge. Use your talents well, and good things will surely come to you. When it feels like others are taking advantage of you, don't respond by trying to do the same to them. Focus on bettering yourself, so you can produce even better work. This is how you will win the race. In the end, those who try to take advantage of you will be left behind. Keep in mind that people who treat you or others unfairly are not using their minds properly. They are losing their power and will eventually start to fall behind. However, if you focus your mind on positive things during this time, you'll not only gain more strength, but also start to make progress. You will keep gaining over time, while others who misuse their minds will likely lose most things in the end. That's how you'll succeed, and do so wonderfully, no matter the challenges or negativity you face. Many people think they can achieve success by stopping others from succeeding, but that's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. If you want to achieve your own success, care about the success of others too. This mindset will help you stay focused on success and think positively. It will also help you understand success better and broaden your perspective. If you focus on stopping others from succeeding, you're adopting a negative mindset that will eventually affect you too. On the other hand, if you support everyone's success, you're nurturing positive attitudes. Over time, these positive thoughts will grow and strengthen your own path to success. We can ask why some people succeed, why many only succeed a little, and why others fail completely. Many people think about these questions, and there are countless answers out there, but only one answer gets to the heart of the matter. People who fail repeatedly do so because their minds are often stuck in a negative mindset, or are not focused in the right direction. If your mind isn't focused on positive and helpful thoughts for a specific goal, you won't succeed. If your thoughts aren't positive, they tend to be negative, and negative thoughts just go along with whatever happens. We need to keep in mind that we face many different situations, some that help us and some that don't. We can either choose our own path or just go along with the flow. And if we go with the flow, we'll end up wherever it takes us. Most people's lives are often found in the everyday, and the less remarkable. If you go off course, you'll end up with those who aren't doing well, and you won't reach your goals. When we look at the thoughts of people who have not succeeded, we often see that they tend to be negative, unhelpful, or lacking direction. Their forces are spread out, and what they have is rarely used in a helpful way. Their personality feels empty, which suggests something negative. Their facial expression shows a lack of clear ambition. Their thoughts are not focused on anything positive or determined. They haven't taken clear steps in any direction. They rely on luck and the situation around them. They are floating along with the current, and they won't achieve much, if anything is certain. This doesn't mean that their thoughts are unproductive. In fact, those minds often have a lot of potential. The problem is that those possibilities are still inactive, and what they hold isn't being developed or used for real action or results. Those people should start right away to follow the 3 important steps mentioned above, and before long, things will improve. They will soon stop drifting and start creating their own lives, circumstances, and futures. Negative people, and those who don't think positively, don't attract helpful things in their lives. As you drift through life, you'll encounter others who are also drifting. But when you start to take charge of your life and focus on the positive, you'll find that you meet more positive people and experience better situations. This shows why God helps those who help themselves. When you start to help yourself, meaning you make the most of what you have inside, you begin to draw in more helpful things that are around you. Simply put, good things draw in other good things. Positive energy brings in more positive energy. A curious mind brings in things that support its growth. People who want to improve themselves find themselves in situations that help them become even better. This law applies to both the outside world and our inner world. When you start using the positive abilities you already have, you awaken other strengths within you that have been asleep. As you keep doing this, you'll notice that your mind grows stronger and more capable, and eventually, you'll become very powerful in your thinking. As you grow and become more skilled, you'll discover better opportunities. These aren't just chances for external success, they're also a chance to develop your abilities, capacity, and talents even further. You show that nothing succeeds like success, and to him that hath shall be given. You don't need to have external things at first to be considered among those who have. What matters is having inner strength. That is, taking charge of what's inside you and using it positively with a clear goal in mind. Someone who can control their own mind is already very wealthy. He has enough money to be considered one of the wealthy. He is already doing well, and if he keeps going like this, his success will soon show in the outside world. The wealth that was initially inside will eventually take shape and become visible outside. This is a law that works every time, and anyone can use it to get great results. Many people fail because they don't use their abilities fully and effectively. Those who do succeed, but only a little, often only use a small part of their potential the right way. Anyone can learn to use everything within them by faithfully applying the 3 essentials mentioned above. People who succeed do so because they use their strengths and abilities in line with 3 key essentials. Since anyone can apply these essentials, even very well, there's no reason why everyone can't succeed. Sometimes we come across people with just average skills, yet they achieve great success. We also come across people who have a lot of talent but aren't very successful, or who only achieve a little success. Initially, there seems to be no clear reason, but once we grasp what leads to success and what leads to failure, finding the explanation becomes straightforward. The man with ordinary ability, if he complies with the 3 essentials necessary to the right use of mind, will naturally succeed. Though if he had greater ability, his success would of course become greater in proportion. A man with great ability, who doesn't use the 3 key things needed to think properly, won't succeed. Using the power of our minds in a positive way, with a clear goal, will lead to progress and success. However, to fully tap into that power, we need to think deeply. Along with using our minds correctly, we need to learn how to use them fully. This means engaging both our conscious thoughts and our deeper, subconscious thoughts. Understanding both aspects is important for complete mental use. When you think about yourself, don't focus on just what you see on the outside. The smaller part shouldn't be focused on or imagined. Consider your bigger self, the vast part of you that has no limits in strength and potential. Have confidence in yourself, but not just in one aspect of who you are. Always acknowledge everything within you, and trust that everyone has complete faith and confidence in it. Let the bigger man on the inside go first. Have faith in your deeper self. You have something inside you that is stronger than any challenge or problem you might face. So, with trust in this bigger purpose, continue with your work. Lesson 4. The powers of the subconscious. The stronger your thoughts, will, and desires, the better the results you will achieve. For mental action to be strong and effective, it needs to be subconscious. This means it should work in the background of our minds, as this is where real change happens. The forces affecting our thoughts can be changed by almost any outside influence, which can shift their direction and purpose. However, this is not the case with the underlying feelings. Anything that affects our thoughts will be seen through to the end, no matter what is happening around us. Once these thoughts are fully active, it's hard to change their direction. It is very important that we do not allow anything in these undercurrents that we do not want to support. And for the same reason, we should make sure to promote everything in these currents that we do want to encourage. These hidden forces work through the subconscious and are managed by it. So, to get the most out of our minds and achieve the results we want, we need to understand and work with our subconscious. The subconscious mind is not a separate mind, and that's an important point to understand. There is only one mind. Every person has one mind, which has 2 parts, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind can be seen as the top part of our thinking, while the subconscious mind is like the bottom part. The subconscious can be seen as a large part of our mind that influences our whole personality, reaching into every aspect of who we are. We can get closer to understanding the truth if we see the subconscious as a special mental energy with its own abilities and potential, like a vast ocean of life and power that we have yet to fully explore. The conscious mind is what we use on the surface. We act through it when our thoughts, will, or desires are at the forefront. However, when we dive deeper into our mental processes and explore the underlying layers, we reach the subconscious. Note that we don't fully become this deeper part of our mind. We are unaware of it, but every time we connect with the subconscious, it is closely linked to our conscious mind. The connection between the 2 parts of the mind can be easily shown by thinking of the conscious mind as a sponge, and the subconscious mind as the water that soaks into it. Every part of the sponge is in contact with the water, just like every part of our conscious mind and every atom of our personality connects with the subconscious. This connection fills us completely with the life and energy of the subconscious. Many people say that the subconscious mind exists in the 4th dimension of space. While we can't prove this exactly, the more we learn about the subconscious and the 4th dimension, the more we feel that the subconscious fits within that space. This is just a topic that is interesting for philosophical exploration. It doesn't matter if the subconscious is in the fourth dimension or another space, its usefulness remains the same. To understand the subconscious, it's helpful to first learn about its natural functions. This will help us realize that it is not something outside of normal mental activity. The subconscious mind manages all the body's natural functions, like circulation, breathing, digestion, and healing. It also manages all the automatic actions of the body, along with those actions of the mind and body that keep going naturally without needing a conscious decision. The subconscious keeps traits and qualities that are unique to individuals, species, or races. Heredity is a process that happens mostly without us being aware of it. It's the same with what we call second nature. When something is done often enough, it becomes a habit and happens automatically without thinking. Sometimes a conscious action can quickly turn into a subconscious one, without needing to be repeated, making it feel natural almost immediately. The subconscious mind reacts to what the conscious mind wants or directs. However, it often takes some time for the conscious mind to clearly express its wishes to the subconscious before getting the desired response. The subconscious is a helpful tool, and it's so capable that so far, we haven't found anything related to the mind that it can't do. It easily accepts different types of training and will follow almost any instruction given, regardless of whether it's beneficial for us or not. It's interesting to know that many things in our bodies, which we often think are natural and unavoidable, are actually just the results of past subconscious training gone wrong. We often talk about human weaknesses as if they are a part of nature. But weakness is not something that is natural. It might seem that way, but it's really just due to incomplete training in our subconscious mind. It's not normal to make mistakes, but it's normal to do things correctly. And the reason for that is straightforward. Doing the right thing aligns with natural law, while doing the wrong thing goes against it. People say that aging is a natural part of life, but modern science shows that it's not normal for someone to age at 60, 70, or 80 years. The average person shows signs of old age around 60, 70, 80, or 90. This suggests that our subconscious mind has learned over generations to bring about aging at these ages. It tends to follow what it has been taught. It can also be trained to have more physical strength and better mental ability at 90 than we have at 30 or 40. It can also be trained to have the same strong vitality at 100 as the healthiest person of 20. Almost everything that happens in our minds, our character, and our personality comes from what our subconscious mind has learned from previous generations. It is clear that when the subconscious is guided to create different thoughts, traits, and personalities, traits that align with the natural way humans grow, those traits will surely show up in people. This helps us see how a new or better race might come to exist on our planet. Many people feel upset about inheriting traits or health issues from their parents. However, what they have really inherited are just subconscious tendencies, and those can definitely be changed. What we get from our parents can be removed so thoroughly that no one would ever realize it was there. We can improve on the good traits we get from our parents so much that any resemblance between us and them in those areas can completely fade away. The subconscious mind is always prepared and capable of helping us make positive changes in our physical or mental state. However, it doesn't work in a magical way, and results typically don't happen right away. Usually, its actions happen slowly, but they always lead to the desired results if the right training keeps going. The subconscious mind will follow the instructions of the conscious mind as long as those instructions don't go against the basic laws of nature. The subconscious always follows natural law, but it can use natural law in a way that helps us improve in any area. It will reflect in both mind and body any condition that is strongly believed and deeply felt by the conscious mind. It can create bad situations framed that way, but it can also bring health, strength, youth, and more energy when directed positively. If you want a strong body and believe that your subconscious can help you achieve that, you will see it happen over time. You will gradually become stronger. If you want to improve your skills in a specific area, you should trust your subconscious to help you enhance your thinking. If you keep working hard, your skills will grow as you hope. Just remember, stay dedicated and keep trying. Being excited about these things for just a few days isn't enough. When we stick to these laws over weeks, months, and years, we often see results that are not just what we expected, but many times even better. Everything tends to grow in our subconscious mind. When a thought or wish gets into the subconscious, it tends to grow. This means that negative thoughts can get worse, while positive ones can improve even more. We can choose to keep the bad out of our subconscious and let only the good in. When you say you're tired, and let that feeling settle in your mind, you'll quickly start to feel even more tired. When you feel sick and let that feeling sink in, you usually end up feeling worse. The same applies when you feel weak, sad, disappointed, or down. If you allow those feelings to settle in your mind, they will get worse. When we feel happy, strong, persistent, and determined, and let those feelings sink in, we always feel better. It's really important that we don't give in to any bad feelings. When we let ourselves feel something, it becomes part of us. If that feeling is negative, it can get worse. However, if we keep those unwanted feelings at a distance, we can manage them until we're ready to deal with them or they fade away on their own. We should not let sickness defeat us, but that doesn't mean we should push ourselves to work as usual when we're not feeling well, or force our minds and bodies to keep going like normal. When we need it, we should take a full break, but we shouldn't let ourselves give in to feeling unwell. Taking a break will help the body recover, and when it does, the illness will go away. When you're feeling tired or down, try not to dwell on it. Instead, focus on something that really captures your interest, something that can shift your thoughts to something enjoyable or uplifting. Keep focusing on how you want to feel, and allow only positive feelings to come into your mind. Good feelings will thrive and develop, and eventually, your ability to feel positive all the time will become so strong that you can set aside any negative feelings that might come up. We should talk about something that is particularly interesting. People who understand this say that no one dies until they give up, meaning they surrender to the negative conditions affecting their body that lead to death. As long as he doesn't accept those conditions, he keeps on living. It's a question of how long someone can hold out, even in tough situations. However, it's clear that many lives could be saved each year if patients chose not to give up. Sometimes life and death seem to be in a delicate balance. The winner will depend on the patient's mindset. If he chooses to focus on the positive aspects of life, those positive forces are likely to prevail. However, if he allows his thoughts to dwell on negativity, then those negative forces are more likely to take over. As long as he keeps choosing to live and won't give up on life, he is using all his mind, thoughts, and will to support living. He boosts the strength of life, and he might boost it enough to conquer death. We can ask how many times someone could avoid death using this method. But the truth is that this method can save lives many times in most cases. After thinking about it more, most people will agree that the number of lives saved will be quite significant. This is a method that should be given careful attention in every sick room. Everyone deserves the chance to live until every possible way to extend their life has been tried. This final method can achieve more than we might think. The key is that when we accept any situation or action, it tends to grow stronger because our subconscious amplifies whatever it takes in. Embrace the reality of death, and your subconscious will strengthen that influence. Embrace the flow of life, and your subconscious will boost your energy, helping you to keep going. When we think about the subconscious, every ability has a part that works beneath the surface, and that this part can grow bigger, more capable as this subconscious part grows. This shows that anyone can develop their abilities and talents significantly, as there seems to be no limit to what the subconscious can do. Every cell in your body has a subconscious part. If we develop this subconscious side of our personality, we can see how much improvement is possible in that area. Every part of human nature has a hidden side, and if we nurture this side, we can see how people might reach their ideal selves, even beyond what we currently imagine for a new generation. It's not a good idea to focus most of our attention on what might happen in the future. We should focus on what we can do now. There are many ways to improve things like our work, skills, health, happiness, and character. If we guide our subconscious mind correctly, we can achieve these improvements without any doubt. To guide your subconscious, all you need to do is truly want something, and make those desires strong and lasting, so they become powerful influences in your mind. If you want something, embrace that feeling, and try to think positively about it. Follow your ambitions, and pursue every desire you want to achieve. Allow your thoughts about the things you want to grow to settle in your mind. Whatever you focus on will be taken up by your subconscious, which will then work to develop and express those ideas. When we use the subconscious, we need to keep in mind that it is not something separate from our everyday life. The difference between someone who uses their subconscious for science and someone who doesn't is simple. The first person uses their entire mind, while the second only uses a small part of it. This shows that people who use their subconscious wisely can work better, have more skills, and can keep going longer. As a result, They often handle the tasks of 2 or 3 people and do a great job too. Training the subconscious for practical action makes sense. It's about not just focusing on a tiny part of your mind when you have the chance to explore the whole thing. The journey to better things. Always think about your dreams. Keep working hard to make them a reality. Have faith in yourself. Trust others, and believe in everything that exists. Make the body stronger, the mind brighter, and the soul more inspired. Always try your best in every situation, and trust that each situation will bring out the best for you. Focus on making the most of life, and using everything that comes from it more effectively. Always want what you truly desire. Keep hoping for what you want, and behave as if your hopes are already happening. Conclusion. The master of your mind. You have reached the end of these pages, but in truth, you stand at the beginning of everything. The journey through these 4 fundamental lessons has equipped you with the most powerful knowledge any human being can possess. The understanding that you are not a victim of your circumstances, your past, or your programming. You are the conscious architect of your own reality, and your subconscious mind is the most willing and capable builder you could ever hope to employ. Think back to who you were when you first opened this book. Perhaps you were struggling with limitations that seemed permanent, battling thoughts that felt beyond your control, or wondering why success seemed to come so easily to others while remaining elusive for you. Now you understand the truth that changes everything. Those others weren't blessed with special gifts or lucky breaks. They simply discovered what you now know, that the power to transform any life lies dormant within every human being, waiting only for the right knowledge and consistent application to awaken it. The principles you've learned are not theories to be admired, but tools to be used. The iron consciousness that elevates you above the limitations of ordinary thinking. The 3 essential keys to mental mastery that focus your entire being like a laser beam on your most important goals. The scientific methods for programming your subconscious mind to work as your tireless partner in creating the life you desire. The understanding of how positive and negative forces operate in your mental realm, and how to ensure that only constructive influences take root in the fertile soil of your deeper mind. Remember this profound truth. Every great achievement in human history began as a thought in someone's mind. The airplane, the telephone, the electric light, the computer on which these words may be displayed, all existed first as ideas in the consciousness of individuals who refused to accept that impossible was a permanent condition. They understood, perhaps intuitively, what you now know scientifically, that the subconscious mind makes no distinction between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It simply accepts the instructions given to it and works with infinite patience and creativity to manifest them in physical reality. The most successful people throughout history shared one common characteristic. They thought differently about themselves and their possibilities. They saw themselves not as they were, but as they were becoming. They felt successful before success arrived, confident before confidence was justified by external circumstances, and powerful before power was recognized by others. This wasn't delusion or wishful thinking. It was the deliberate programming of their subconscious minds with the images, feelings, and beliefs that would eventually become their reality. You now possess this same power, and with it comes a profound responsibility. The knowledge you've gained is not meant to be hoarded or forgotten, but to be lived and shared. As you begin to apply these principles and witness their transformative effects in your own life, others will notice the change in you. They will see a person who moves with greater confidence, speaks with more authority, and seems to attract opportunities and positive circumstances with unusual frequency. When they ask you what is changed, you will have the privilege of sharing these life-changing truths with them. The world desperately needs more individuals who understand the power of their minds and use that power constructively. Every person who masters their subconscious mind becomes a force for positive change in their family, their community, and their sphere of influence. You have the opportunity to become part of what this book refers to as a new and better race. Not in any biological sense, but in the sense of human beings who have awakened to their true potential and learned to live from that higher understanding. Your subconscious mind is listening even now as you read these final words. It is ready to accept whatever instructions you choose to give it. It will work just as diligently to create failure as success, limitation as abundance, fear as confidence. The choice is yours, and it is a choice you make not just once, but every moment of every day, through your thoughts, your self-talk, your mental images, and your emotional responses to life's circumstances. Make the choice to think bigger, Dream larger and expect more from yourself and your life. Make the choice to see yourself as the powerful, creative, unlimited being you truly are. Make the choice to use every thought, every desire, every moment of visualization as an opportunity to program your subconscious mind for greater success, deeper happiness, and more meaningful contribution to the world. The garden of your mind awaits your careful tending. The seeds of your greatest dreams are ready to be planted. The unlimited power of your subconscious mind stands ready to transform those seeds into a harvest beyond your current ability to imagine. All that remains is for you to begin. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now, in this very moment. Your new life starts with your next thought. Choose it wisely, feel it deeply, and trust completely in the magnificent power that lies within you. The master of your mind has always been you. Now you know how to use that mastery to create a life of unlimited possibility.